Welcome back, everyone,
to Ty and Gig Builds.
I'm Ty.
And I'm Gig.
And today we're making a backyard beer pong table.
He's gonna make one.
And I'm gonna make one.
He's making a beer pong table.
And he's making a beer pong table.
And we're gonna see whose turns out the best.
On Ty and Gig Build.
To get started, I just took a sheet of plywood and cut it down to size for the legs. These legs are about 3 inches wide and 36 inches tall, and I just took them to the table saw. We had already actually cut them to the right height, so we just needed to cut them to the width here.
So we're gonna drill right through here.
Okay.
Okay, just to get us started. Okay, and then I'm gonna bring this puppy out and finish her off for you guys. Little rough sketch we did here for approximate size that we want the cup to rest in. So we're gonna test this out.
Are you confident in that?
I'm fairly confident.
While Gig was figuring out how to cut those holes, I took the ruler over to my piece of plywood. I was measuring out the triangle. Each angle is going to be 60 degrees. It's going to be an equilateral triangle.
Looks like it wasn't so easy as we thought now.
No.
Not the best, but not the worst.
So after Gig got that first hole done, I went over to my piece of plywood and started drawing out the lines where the holes were going to be. And I plan on making these holes 3 inches wide with about a 1/2 inch buffer. So between each center point of the circle, I was giving about 3.5 inches and just measuring angles and degrees relative to the size of the triangle just to make sure that when I drilled out those holes, it would fit up perfectly.
Right, this is not correct.
Yeah, he should have just eyeballed it and it would have worked.
What were you gonna say?
My grandfather was a carpenter.
He goes, my grandfather was a carpenter, and I don't know why you were doing that.
So after Gig was drilling out those holes, I went over to my piece and started cutting out the triangle with a circular saw and straight edge. I ended up freehanding it because it was easier to do at the end. Then I used a 3-inch hole saw to cut the holes for where the cups are going to rest. Unfortunately, the drill is not strong enough to do it all the way, so I used the lines as reference.
Okay.
I can see myself shooting and some free throws into those. Okay.
Thoughts on this?
Exactly what I expected.
What is that?
Mediocrity.
Do you think that you can outdo me on this? Do you think that you're gonna have a better
I
result?
mean, if you take into consideration just the fact that I'm eyeballing everything, yes.
And just like Gig did, I drilled out some relief holes so when I put the jigsaw through, it'll be easier to cut. I then proceeded to butcher these cuts when trying to make the circles. I don't know if it was because it's the end of the day or if it was rushing, but they did not come out great. Once I realized I couldn't use that hole saw, it was all downhill from there. But it did end up functioning just fine in the end.
No measurements.
Don't ever measure.
Honestly, you could build a house that would be like 90% good with no measurements. Not bad. A little thicker.
Really not bad.
I could honestly even trim some off, but I don't need to.
Just like Gig did, I used my top as a template and drew out what the bottom was going to look like, and took a jigsaw and just finished up the cut as close as I could to the line.
Mine's certainly more efficient, but it just doesn't look as good. I screwed up so many of these nicks.
After you made the gift box, you cannot show your face with this thing.
No. Yours looks really good, actually.
After we had finished the tops and bottoms, we moved over to the legs. We were just drilling out some pocket holes. We use pocket holes as the joinery. It's really simple, shouldn't be a very difficult build. It's a very cheap option that's able to hold the structure nice and tight for a build like this.
Well, there's not much to it than that, guys.
I have to say, I really screwed this one up. Oh, okay. Gig, I'm very impressed with your set.
Yeah. Oh. Okay.
We're gonna actually play a game here and see what happens, but I definitely regret the decisions I made in making this board.
And I don't.
Well, that's it for this one, folks. I actually had to redo mine because it was too bad. It was too poor. Gig definitely took the W on this. His was outstanding for what he did. Unbelievable for no
I'd say
measurements.
pretty good for a total of 0 measurements. I'm gonna take this as a 1 victory for Gig. Ding!
All right, please like, comment, subscribe. Join our AIM chat group. We're
Yes.
on Omegle now.
Omegle, yeah.
What else are we
Hit
on?
us up on Omegle.
Next week we have a build. It's gonna be an iteration of the scoreboard. We're gonna add some live sports scores to it, so stay tuned if you're interested.
Yeah.
Until then though, we'll see you next week.
Builds.